Hello, I'm Andrew Perry, and I want to welcome the global audience to the Embrace It Community Podcast and welcome you to this special edition, The Story Behind the Community Podcast. As always, we want to remind you or perhaps someone you know that there is help available if you feel overwhelmed and need to talk to someone. You are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available 24/7 all year long in English and Spanish. The conversations are free and confidential. Now, I said this is a special edition of the Story Behind the Embrace It Community Podcast. So my question to you, dear viewer, is have you ever wondered what was the motivation behind your favorite podcast? Who are they trying to reach? What does the host want to accomplish with the podcast? Well, today we are taking a step back to discuss those things with the person behind the podcast to find out about the purpose of the Embrace It Community Podcast. So let's talk about it. Now let's bring on our host, Bracy Goodwin. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Hey, Andrell, how are you?
I
Thank you.
am well. I'm well. Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to come on this evening and just kind of pull the curtain back a little bit behind the podcast and just kind of introduce people to some other sides of you that maybe they don't know and kind of find out your reason. Because I'm often curious about why a podcast even exists. How did they come up with the topic, the subject matters? So
Yeah,
we want to talk about that.
I
So
appreciate that.
you, Mr. Goodwin, are indeed a multifaceted person. Okay, a man of faith, active in the marketplace. We know you from this podcast and the things that you shared, that you are a man of compassion for people, for families in the global community. And some of us know you as a person with a heart for ministry, and you show that every week through the podcast. So
Yeah.
today we want to give you time to allow the viewers to see what makes Embrace It Community Podcast worth their time and support. So that's what we want to do today.
Hey, this is
Okay.
an honor. I mean, I have to say it is an honor because I've never been interviewed before. I never got to this point, and no one really asked me why.
Mhm.
What's the why behind what you're doing, and how did this all get started? And sometimes I sit back and I say, why am I doing this?
Mhm.
And I hear that still soft voice because I called you to do this,
Yes.
and so I have to be attentive to that. And I have to also back up just a little bit now. This is a lot of people don't know this. When I was a young lad, I would say I had to have been 10, 11 years old. And my stepdad had a reel to reel tape recorder in the basement. And I never forget, I asked him, I said, can I, use this since you're not using it? And so what I did was I it had a little mic with a cord on it. It was real ugly and old, square mic like this, like the old studios. And I would put on, I think it was one of Aretha Franklin's albums, and I would let the music play. And then I would get, after the song played, I would do just like what I'm doing right now and just talk.
Mhm.
No script, no nothing, like as if I knew that was my calling. And
Mhm.
so I would just sit there and I would just talk. I would say, that was Aretha Franklin and the California Community Choir with Reverend
Uh-huh.
James Cleveland. And they just sang this song, and I would just go at it. And I thought about this when you asked me to do the interview. I thought
Mhm.
about it and I said, where did it all start? That's where it started from. So I I'm walking in my calling, as we
Yes.
say.
Mhm.
Didn't know that was my calling back then, but this was something that I enjoyed doing as a kid.
Mhm.
Years after that, I looked at going to school for radio broadcasting, and it was really costly. And I think you've done that, right? You've
I
done radio,
did. I
yeah.
did. Yes.
It was quite costly back when I was in Columbus, Ohio. I was going to go to the school, and I just wanted to take up radio, but this particular school said, no, you had to do radio and TV. And I was like, ah.
Mm.
So it's not really what I decided to do and spend that money into it. At that time, they didn't have student loans, maybe because it wasn't an accredited school, but then years later, they did, and the price, of course, went up, and I just said, nope. I'm not going to do it. So that now brings me forward to where I am today with doing this, because this was an idea of my son, Javon. We talked one day, and I don't know exactly what it was or what he saw or what he felt. He said, hey, Dad, why don't you start a podcast? I knew nothing about this project of doing a podcast. I knew nothing about it. And I said, well, how do I do it? How do I do it? You need to go here. You need to look online, watch this YouTube, and watch this guy tell you and walk you through on how this thing goes. So I started the process like that, thanks to my son. This was all him. And I give a shout out to my son, Javon Jones, for
wonderful.
He pushed me. He pushed me here. He did. He really did. Because I didn't even want to do it. Because I think I did one. And he was like, when are you going back on again? You're supposed to go on every week. And I was like, okay. All right. Okay, here we go. So here we are. You know.
Great. Yeah. So without a doubt, we are definitely grateful for God moving through him to put that idea in your mind to give you the push that you needed. We all need someone or a group of people in our corner to push us to do things. When God calls us to it, it's not that we always don't hear. We just, for whatever reason, need a push. We need that support. So So that's
I know. For me, I didn't have that self-confidence. Believe it or not, you know, I may seem like I'm confident in doing this, but there are some times I'm hard on myself. I guess I would call it that. I'm very hard on myself. I'm very hard about the way I present. You know, you saw me today. At church, Mount Rose Church. It was a surprise to me. I was asked on Wednesday to speak for the 8 a.m. service. If you haven't seen the 8 a.m. service, go back to Mount Rose Church, Dallas, Texas, and watch the YouTube. I was asked to speak, and the assignment was to bring the message. And when I got the call Wednesday night at 9:30, needless to say, I did not sleep the entire night. And it was that. So this is all a part of the call, a part of the whole move towards where God has called me to be. So here I am, here I am, you know. So
all right. So let's start taking a walk then down the path, down the journey that led us to today. Now, a lot of people know you as the person we see here in the marketplace, Bracy Goodwin, the professional, the professional person. Very professional. So this person, as all of us, and as you said, you have a story to tell. And I heard you mention, you know, while you were speaking, and by the way, I thank God for the word that you gave today. What's love got to do with it? It was an outstanding message, and we were grateful for it. You said that love's got everything to do with it when it comes to our relationship with God. So I was grateful for that. So this person that we see here, Mr. Bracy Goodwin, you mentioned the fact that you served in the military. So can you tell us in your younger years, how old were you when you entered the military, and how long did you serve?
Can I go back to that first picture first?
Sure.
Let's go back to the first one because I got a story to tell about that. Okay. See this look that you see right here? This was a look of failure is not an option. This was the look I did portrayed kind of like the movie. Remember the movie Drumline? And he went to the school. He got into the school, but he couldn't read. Remember that? He couldn't read music. Okay, so this right here was the look of Bracy trying to really make it in New York City. No education, no high school diploma at this time. This was back in the 80s. And so what I would do, I would go down to Wall Street area in New York City, and I would watch the men on Wall Street, just how they dressed, how they walked, how they talked. I just sat and I listened. And so I began to mimic that because I wanted to be successful, but didn't know how to. And the only thing I knew what to do was to take a suit and put it on and act as if I already was.
Mm.
I had dust bunnies in my pocket. If anybody knows what dust bunnies is, that's the little lint
Yes.
balls that's in your pocket.
Yes.
Bro,
Empty.
empty.
Mm-hmm.
I had
Mm-hmm.
nothing, but people saw me as a professional person in New York City. And I never forget, I was on the train headed home, unsuccessful, finding a job, but I was just riding home. I had on a suit, and this black guy, he said to me on the train, he said, "Man, you must be making big money." And I just
Mm.
looked at him with my hand in my pocket, twiddling those dust bunnies. I said, "Man, thank you. I appreciate it." And I laughed as if I was. But I said,
Mm-hmm.
little does he know, I don't have anything. I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
anything. So that was this startup look. And so from that point on, people started noticing me in the career faith. Yes, Ezell, walk of faith. Man, I'm walking in my
Mm.
faith, man. I'm walking in
Yes.
and just please, somebody just give me a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I had to do, like I said, I had to mimic them. I had to watch them. I had to look at what they were reading. They were reading the Wall Street Journal. So I started buying the Wall Street Journal.
Wow.
And so that's how I started learning how to read. And I'm not, like I said, I'm transparent, man, because I know this is all about helping somebody. So I went to high
Mm-hmm.
school, but as you know, my first podcast, I talked about, I was a high school dropout, and then I later on got my GED, but I did not really, I could read. Now, there was nothing wrong with me reading. I just was lazy, didn't want to read. And so they purchased the Wall Street Journal. I purchased the Wall Street Journal, and that's how I started. That's how this whole thing
Wow.
started. Yeah. So absolutely. To God be the glory. I mean, faith on top of faith. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, Ezell said confident. I was confident, and that
Mm-hmm.
something was going to happen sooner or later. And that sooner or later wound up being later because it took a while before I started getting the opportunity to really get it going. And so my very first job in New York City, Bank of America, 335 Madison Avenue, and I was a mailroom clerk, and I was only making $3.35 an hour. 1983. Yeah, that was it. So that was the whole start. That's how I did it. So now we can go on, because when I look at pictures like this and I look at stuff like that, I said, man,
Memories.
flashbacks. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
flashback.
Wow.
To God be the glory, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm still speaking.
Yes.
I'm still pushing. I'm still learning. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let's go to the military now. We talk about the military.
All right.
That was fun.
Picture in the military. So
Picture
tell
in the
us about this
military.
young man. Yeah.
Yeah, now this young man, I would say hello to Daniel Fontaine. Hey, brother, good seeing you, man. Columbus, Ohio. To God be the glory. It's right, my brother. He knows. This picture here was wanting to go into military because it was still a struggle, and I was struggling trying to take care of my family. And at that time, I was like, I got to do something. And I went to a mall in New Jersey. And there were the recruiters. And they said, how about joining up? And I said, okay, sure. So now I had to go take the ASVAB test and all that stuff. Thank God I learned how to read and got in and went in the Air Force. My dad wanted me to be a Marine. Nah, go figure that. I said, no, Dad, I'm good. That was you. This is what I want to do. So I went in the Air Force and joined the Air Force, and I was air crew life support in the U.S. Air Force. And it was fun. Wish I would have made it a career move, but shoulda, coulda, wouldas, of course. But the opportunity, the time that I did spend, it was excellent. It was a good time, really, really good time. So that was my start in the Air Force. And so I got to tell this part too. I know this is good too. So when I got in, right, I was 32, because I had some college credits and stuff like that. So I was able to get in at a later age at that time because my college credits. So we're all in the dorms, drill sergeants coming around yelling, screaming and hollering and yelling, and all the younger guys that were 18, 19 years old was like freaking out and having a fit, and I'm looking at them laughing on the inside, cracking up, like just looking at them, just shaking and doing all this stuff. And then the very next day, the drill sergeant said to me, he said, "Goodwin." I said, "Sir, Airman Goodwin reports his orders." I remember how we had to. Airman Goodwin reports his order. He said, "You look like a family man." I said, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do have a family." He said, "All right, great. And you also know this is a bunch of BS, right?" I said, "Sir, yes, sir." He said, good. He said, I want you to be my dorm chief. When I'm not here, you're in charge.
Wow.
And I said, sir, yes, sir. So that leadership,
Mm-hmm.
people saw leadership in me when I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't see it. But he saw leadership in me. So that was the beginning of the leadership roles I began to take. Yep.
Wow. That is amazing. That's a great story. You have so many stories, wonderful stories to tell.
Yeah.
And another thing that I found really amazing is that you are a musician. So let's talk about Bracy the musician. Your
Man.
eyes are rolling in your head.
Oh,
So
yes,
now
yes.
this is an image that a lot of people might say, really, to
Mm-hmm.
imagine you sitting there playing, on the
Yeah.
organ. I thought that was a great picture to see you there on the organ, to show a different part of you that people might not know, and another picture we have of you serving there
Yeah.
as well.
Back in Ohio.
So
That was in Ohio. Yeah.
yeah,
It all
how old?
started.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, when I got started, when I first had the interest of music, my mother took me to the Brooklyn Academy of Music, 6, 7 years old. And back then in those days, they had the old pipe organs. And I started hearing the pipe organ sound coming up from out of nowhere, and I couldn't see it. And all of a sudden, the curtains opened up. And when the curtains opened up, there was this man sitting playing the pipe organ.
Mm-hmm.
And all I could remember was I was on the edge of my seat. Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat. And I was about to get up and go down, and my mother grabbed me. She said, boy, what's wrong with you? You want to go play that, don't you? I was like, yeah, Mom. Yeah, I do. I want to go play it. She said, well, go play it. And she told me to go, and I was getting ready to go, and she snatched me back. She said, no, you can't go down there and play it. Had no clue on how to play or anything like that. But the sound of that sound, and I can't remember, he's playing classical music on that pipe, but it fascinated me at a very early age. So now that's the first observation, notice of when I first had this interest of music. So then my grandmother purchased this, it may have been a 10-key little wooden box keyboard, not even a keyboard, it was like a fake piano that had the ding dong ding ding ding. It really didn't have the chords, but I would sit there as if I was playing and knew what I was playing. And to her was like, boy, would you stop making that noise? And I'm just doing there and doing that. But at the same time, so now my little cousin comes over, Veron, she comes over. So I'm playing and she's in the choir, she's singing whatever we were singing, thinking we were singing. And after she finished singing, I would get up and put the towel around my neck as if I was the pastor, get up and start preaching. Oh, we had so much fun. So that was another revelation on what I was going to be doing in my life, So that's how it all started. It started right there. So now I'm 6. So now here comes 12 years old. I'm 12. Zion Shallow Baptist Church. And back then it was just nothing but straight hymns, knee snapping, no drums, no nothing like this. But for some reason or another, this Sunday morning, the spirit got a little high. And they had a little pickup beat that beat just actually picked up. And the old organist that was sitting there, he didn't know what to do. And I walked up to him and tapped him on the shoulder. I said, can I play? And he moved over and I got on there and I took us to church. And everybody's mouth dropped around me that was watching. They never knew I could play. So that's how it started.
Wow. Yeah. So God just leading and God. So it's you're making me think of how important it is for parents to pay attention to the gifts, the talents that their children display, and to nurture that even at a young age, because they don't, you don't know where they're heading with that.
Absolutely, because that's the key. My grandbaby, her mother called me or showed me a video, and Ava, so she is singing that song. The devil is a liar, yeah. And Ava is going, yeah. And I'm saying, Tatiana, do you hear her? And she's like, yeah, Dad. On pitch and everything. And I said, she's going to be a leader. She's going to be a worshiper. She was like,
Mm.
I know. Already at the age of 1.5, she's doing this at the age. So yes, we have to pay attention to what our grand and our children are doing,
Mhm.
and work with them on it. Make sure that it happens. So yes, yeah. That was good. That was fun. That was fun. So that was
And
my playing. So now, okay, so I played pretty much 40 years. 40 years of
wow,
my life.
40
40 years.
years.
Andrew, I had to play when I didn't want to play. I had to play when I didn't feel like playing because I was dedicated to the church. I had to
Mhm.
play when I was broken,
Mhm.
depressed, didn't want to live, didn't want to do anything. But I know music calmed me. Music calmed me. So I was able to sit behind the piano and organ and heal myself somewhat by playing. And
Mhm.
while people in the church are really feeling my music and they're listening to my music, oh my God, man, you're playing. Where are you getting those chords from? And I was like, I don't know. It was from a place of brokenness
Mm.
and depression.
Mm.
So I did a lot of that. I did a lot of that. A lot of church hurt too. We don't talk about it maybe in another episode, but a lot of church hurt because we were being um, um, how can I say it? I want to say the word used, but there was a high demand on our talent. Uh,
Mhm.
but when there was a need, nobody tapped into my need, but they wanted me to
Right.
play, but you can't help me
Mhm.
with my need. So there was a lot of church hurt behind the scenes, when it came down to playing.
Yeah,
So
that definitely.
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was going to say that definitely is a topic all in itself.
yeah, it is. It
Serving,
is.
serving through church hurt, because there are a lot of people you push, you put on that mask, and all of us are so good about acting the
Hmm.
part in church,
Oh yeah,
singing, playing, serving, just whatever you're doing. And as you said, a lot of broken people.
broken.
So it definitely something that may be in the future that you could talk about
Yeah, yeah. That'll be another. That'll
on
be
your
another.
podcast.
Embrace it because that's something that I had to embrace.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yep.
And so, in case anyone hadn't noticed, that the embrace it, and even the name is your son. That
Yes.
I don't know if that's using your name. See, God even gave you the
Yeah.
name.
He did that. That was my son.
60 years later, that
Yeah.
name is
Yeah.
is like your brand, and no
Yeah.
one can take it from you. It's not
Right.
even have to be
Yeah.
copywritten, because it's
Yeah.
yours. It's
Yeah.
stamped on you, on you from the beginning of your life. So
Right.
that
Right. Right.
is
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, if you are just joining us, we are presenting a special edition, the story behind the Embrace It Community Podcast. Today, we're just taking some time to let you find out a little bit more
Yeah.
about the person and the purpose, those two
Yeah.
things, the purpose and the person behind the community podcast. Now, before we go any further, and we have a little bit more to share, but I just have to ask you this before we go forward. And I thought of it as you were preaching your sermon this morning. What's love got to do with it? And by the way, you can tune in to YouTube or find the Mount Rose Church on Facebook and watch that, because we do archive our services, and you can watch it and support our brother here, the chaplain,
Yeah.
the preacher, Mr. Bracy Goodwin. What's
Yeah.
love got to do with it? Every Embrace It Community Podcast, you close with "I love you because I love me first." And for anyone who doesn't understand that, explain what that means.
I have to break it down like this. I didn't love me. There was a time I didn't love me.
Mhm.
There was a time I didn't love what I was doing and how I was hurting so many people,
Mhm.
previous marriages and relationships. And that was all because I was hurt. I had
Mhm.
got hurt. I was dealing with a lot of depression, a lot of issues.
Mhm.
Like I said, that I masked in getting into relationships that I should not have gotten into without going to counseling. But who knew back in those days in the 80s,
Yeah.
90s,
Mhm.
about counseling? We didn't know. There was nobody ever saying with counseling. And if we told our parents or my mother that I want to go to counseling, the first thing come out of her mouth, what are you, crazy?
Yeah.
See the
Black
things
people
that
don't
was
do
said.
that.
Yeah, black folks don't do this.
Yeah.
We supposed to just suck it up, bear it, and suck it in, and
Pray and
just
read a
carry it
scripture.
all. And that's
Mm-hmm.
if that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have a voice, and that's what my counselor told me. So the reason why I say I love you because I love me first, because I had to go through some serious therapy
Mm-hmm.
and counseling, and my therapist was the one that identified where the broken part was that he was able to repair, because he said to me, tell me some things that were said about you when you were growing up. Oh man, I began to cry because I
Mm-hmm.
started saying the things. I wasn't good enough. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going to be anything. You do nothing but hurt people. You're dumb. You're uneducated. And he says, okay, now tell me some things you have accomplished since that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, wow. I said, okay, I went to the military. He said,
Mm-hmm.
right, you went to the military. And I said, right. I came out. I said, I have beautiful children. He says, yes, yes, you have beautiful children. You in your lives. I was like, yes, I'm in their life. I went to college and I have a bachelor's degree in Christian counseling, and I have a master's degree in chaplaincy. And
Mm-hmm.
now I work as an occupational health and safety official, helping people, you know, as a someone that just counsels people there. So he said, is any of those things that were said about you when you were younger still in your life today?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, when that feeling or feelings try to
Mm-hmm.
come, you can suppress it by taking
Mm-hmm.
a look on your wall, or talking to yourself, or getting in the presence of somebody and saying, no, that's not.
Yeah.
So that's when I began to love myself. That
Mm-hmm.
I had to, and had I known that I had to love myself first before I tried to love someone else, I wouldn't have made the mess that I did. Maybe I would have, but you know, because I'm not perfect. But I
Mm-hmm.
had to learn how to love me. So how can someone say they love someone when they don't love themselves?
Right, right. And the first makes the difference. We were talking about that one day after church between services.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you say I love me because I love me first, and we were talking about how the first makes the difference. You have to love yourself first,
Gotta
as
love
you're
yourself
saying, in
first.
order before you can love and care for other people.
Absolutely. So that's why I say I love you because I
Mm-hmm.
love me first. And I
Mm-hmm.
said today, and you know, one of the things is because of God's love. He sent His Son to love me, my
Mm-hmm.
messed up, wretched self. And that word wretch, I had to look that up, man. That word wretch is strong. You know, we use it so much. You
Mm-hmm.
despicable piece of a human you are. You're wretched, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the song in Amazing Grace. He saved a
Mm-hmm.
wretch like me.
Me.
I
Mm-hmm.
was jacked up, toe up from the flow up. So I had to break down that whole thing and figure out what he was saying. And I said, wow, if anybody can send their own son to love me, love you, love all these other people out here, everybody else in this world, even number 47,
Mm-hmm.
if he says he loves him, then I
Yeah.
guess I can love people in my
Mm-hmm.
own community,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yes.
we supposed
Mm-hmm.
to love him. And
Even.
I'm
Yeah.
still trying
Even.
on that one. I'm not there
I
yet.
know you're not by yourself.
Yeah.
You're
Ooh,
not. You're
love
not by
him.
yourself.
Ooh. Yes. I'm not.
But I want to thank the global audience of the Community Podcast for joining us
Yeah.
today on the special edition of The Story Behind the Embrace It
Right.
Community Podcast, and your host,
Yeah.
Mr. Bracy Goodwin. So we're kind of going through some of the beginning chapters of your life and some of the things that you are involved with that led to or that are included in your experiences with the Community Podcast. And one thing that I was truly fascinated with, sir, was to find out about your involvement with the Buffalo Soldiers. Can you tell us
Yes.
how you became involved with the Buffalo Soldiers?
This is a great picture. This is a picture of the Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers organization down in San Antonio, Texas. My mother lived in San Antonio, and one year I moved down there to be closer with her, and I was going to some schooling and getting my education down there. And I don't know how it was, I got a chance to see these guys down here. And I was so intrigued by, one, the uniform, and
Mhm.
they were all black. And I asked the questions. I was like, who are you? Back in 2013, who are you? And they began to share with me who they were. And they said, would you like to be a part of this? I said, by all means. So then I had to get the books and start reading up on them and find out what they were. So who they were and what they did. So these guys here, Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers, they are an organization that tells the story of the Buffalo Soldiers from back in 1866 when they all got started. And they were one of the first black regiments that were peacekeepers in the Midwest here. Peacekeepers that kept and protected people traveling from the East Coast all the way out to California because of the Native American Indians would not allow them to pass through. If they allowed them, they got robbed, or even just people that just out there, the people that just want to rob people. Yeah, there was thieves and crooks back then. So their only job was to protect and guard the people traveling through the United States country land on horseback. The 10th Cavalry, they rode horses. The 9th Cavalry, they walked, they were on foot. And so the Cavalry Regiment, and so that's who they were. That's who they. And so I was so intrigued by it. I love the whole idea of it, and I wanted to be a part of this history. So just being a part of this history, so that I can leave a legacy to my grandchildren, my children, and my grandchildren, and let them know that their grandfather and father was a part of one of the first African American cavalry regiments here in the United States. Remember the movie Glory? Remember that movie? Glory?
Yes.
That movie Glory. Those guys were out of Boston, Troop 54, Black Regiment out there. But there was another organization, a group of men. They were called the Harlem Hellfighters, and they wasn't allowed. They came after all of this. They weren't allowed to fight in the United States. Still, they were sent to France, and they fought over in France. And the French people treated them like brothers. You know, they were shocked by that, but they went over there. Long story short, won the war, came back, got back here, and they said, well, that was over in France. We're not giving you no parade. Okay. So yeah, Buffalo Soldiers, that was down in San Antonio. It was good times, good information out there. That hot uniform, that's made out of all cotton, 100% cotton.
It looks hot.
Yeah, it was hot. But you know, when you wear it out in the heat, actually it keeps you cool on the inside, you know, wearing that. So it kind of takes that heat and pushes it away from you, you know, not like you would think it does, but it's hot. That was hot uniform. Yes.
So what is, so we have a comment here on the podcast.
Yes.
And so how long then a total of how long have you been with the Buffalo Soldiers?
It's coming up to almost 10 years now. It's 2013. Yeah, it's almost 10 years now. I started out as just, you know, one of the Buffalo Soldiers. And within the last year or two, I became the chaplain because one of the chaplain that they had, he wound up moving away, and I took the place and became chaplain down in San Antonio. So that's how I started with the whole chaplain part of it, with the black. The chaplain wore the black, the Buffalo Soldier. Oh, there you go. You got a picture.
There you go.
Yeah, so I became the chaplain there, and that's what the chaplain wore back in 1866. Now, every military, infantry, whatever it is, they have a chaplain. So the chaplains were even back in 1866. And the whole thing about being a chaplain was about being a ministry of presence. While these guys were out fighting, not hearing from loved ones and family, we were there to support them mentally, to keep them motivated in what they're doing, and to give them communion on Sundays and have service with them, you know, before they went into battle. And one of the scenes out of the movie Glory I love, when they got around, they didn't have a chaplain in that movie, but they should have had a chaplain. But Morgan Freeman was the chaplain when they started singing, "Oh my Lord, Lord." Oh, I like watching that. I was like, "Oh,
that's a great scene."
Yeah, that was a good scene. So, but that's what the chaplain would do and get around them before they would go into battle and carry them through. That's the picture. Thank you.
We have a clip here. We're going to see if we can play this, and maybe you can tell us about this video clip that you shared with us.
Yes.
We don't want to have to lift that in the frame.
Yes, we were making the movie about Bass Reeves, the first U.S. Marshal.
Fire in the hole!
And so that's me.
And wait for action, please. Wait for action, please.
Back down, then raise it.
And action.
Live rounds.
Cut. Got that? I love that. Yeah. I love that. Cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
See, we didn't know you were actor as well. You see, you holding back a little bit on us, so we're finding out more and more.
That's because I don't have Tyler Perry's money yet. Once I get Tyler Perry's money,
it's coming. It's all coming.
It's coming. Trust me. I believe it. I receive it, like everything else that's been happening and transforming in my life now. So that was an opportunity that I had with the San Antonio Buffalo Soldiers. We were actually down by Austin on some land that was owned by a lady that allowed this gentleman to come in and shoot. His movie is called They Call Me Marshall.
They Call Me Marshall.
Okay. Yes, about Bass Reeves being the first U.S. Marshal. It hasn't come out yet. And so, but that was one of the scenes where the Buffalo Soldiers was with Bass Reeves. A lot of the histories, we don't know about this stuff about Bass Reeves so much.
Right, right.
You know what Hollywood said and who Hollywood portrayed Bass Reeves to be?
The Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger, right.
Yeah.
Because Bass Reeves was raised by Native American Indians. So there was no way Hollywood said, we're not going to put this black man up here. No. We'll put a white man on and put a black mask over his face.
And give him all those attributes that he had.
All of that.
Try to. Yeah. Well, yes. And you mentioned the chaplaincy, and we do not want to leave this segment of the podcast without talking about Bracy Goodwin, Chaplain Bracy Goodwin. So I greatly respect that aspect of you, that you serve as chaplain. A lot of people don't know a lot about chaplaincy. We hear that term mostly when it's maybe a hospice situation, or in a hospital is really the only time we hear about chaplains. But you are a chaplain, Chaplain Bracy Goodwin, and here's a picture of you in your
chaplain attire. Yeah,
your chaplain attire. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
I sure can. Once again, in college, I was at Liberty University, and my goal, because Bishop Nelson, which is Jonathan Nelson's and Jason Nelson's recording artists, their father spoke to me one Sunday, and he said, I want you to attend the school and get your ministry certification. That was it, but I wound up going for the Christian counseling. So I got my bachelor's degree in Christian counseling, 4 years. Ooh, it was tough. Haven't been in school in a long time, 4 years. And I said, I'm done. And I heard the voice of God said, no, you're not. I said, what do you mean? I'm having a conversation like I'm having with you. I said, what do you mean I'm not done? You're going to get your master's degree. I said, do you understand what I went through to get this? And he said, God said, you're going to get your master's degree in chaplaincy. And I said, oh my gosh, I felt like I was talking to my parents, but I actually was talking to the Father. And that's what he told me to do. So I started taking the courses in chaplaincy. And I'm so glad I did, because it opened me up to know more about chaplains. Chaplains are not just in hospitals. Chaplains, like I said, are in military. Chaplains are in with the fire department, the police department. Okay, so there's so many different avenues where chaplains are. And it's just, like I said, ministry of presence, just being there for people. Now, there are corporate chaplains. They have an organization called the Corporate Chaplains of America, where their corporate chaplains are working in the workforce field. Interstate Batteries, that big company, they have chaplains on site at their companies. So I started learning about that. Yeah. So I love chaplaincy. I love chaplaincy because I love listening to people. And I love talking to people, and people love coming up to me and just having conversations and start telling me what's going on. And I'm that person that will sit and listen.
Right.
No judgment. No judgment.
No judgment. Well, we have a comment from one of our members actually from Mount Rose, Sister Goodman, and Goodson, rather. And she's watching, and she said that this is awesome. So we want to thank her so much for watching the podcast on this evening.
You. Yeah, good to see you. I did see that pop up there. All right.
Yes, and again, we are just presenting a special edition of the community broadcast, the story behind the Embrace It Community Podcast, learning a little bit about the purpose behind it, the person behind it. So now, sir, I want to move forward and talk a little bit more in the time that we have left. And about the podcast. What has been your experience in planning a weekly podcast? How's that going so far?
It was in the beginning, it was tough because I didn't know what to do and how to do it. And so that's when God led you my way. You came and said, hey, I know how to do this, and because I needed help. I was doing all of this, what you're helping me doing by myself. And I was really getting frustrated and wanted to give up. I didn't want to do it anymore because I didn't know. I was like, I don't have a salary or budget or team or anything like that. And so getting this whole thing up and started, and I have to say, God, okay, I hear what you're saying because you said you would make the ways out of nowhere. And then you came along and offered your assistance and helping me in this area. And so that allowed me to hear what I needed to hear about preparing the topics and where we're going to go and how we're going to go about getting it. So that's a big help there. I have support from family, like I said, and it's just amazing to me how I didn't see it, but other people see it. That's what's amazing to me. So I love it. Hope I answered the question.
You did.
Okay.
You did. And so having said that, what has been so far, because it's going to have a long way to go, what has been maybe your favorite or one of your favorite topics so far in your podcast? What's been your favorite episode?
I would have to say the transparency one, one of my first ones. It's about being transparent and just talking about me. And I would have to say that was the best one because a lot of people don't feel comfortable like I am. I've gotten to this place, always wasn't like this, with sharing about the pain and the hurt and the sufferings. And I wish I had someone to talk to unless they know somebody else is willing to be transparent. And so, and some people would comment, and you get the good comments in the back of it. The bad comment, oh, that's all you got to talk about? Just you and thinking about. I said, y'all don't understand. They didn't understand. So I would say the best one, the one I love the most, is about me, about being transparent, putting all my stuff out there. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And the ugly I saw in me. So I would have to say that was the best one, but all of them really are. But that one about me, transparency, because it's part of the process towards the book. I don't know. Did we talk about the book? Did I tell you about the book?
No, you did mention to me that you were writing a book. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah,
so
writing the
book.
book.
About the book.
The book is entitled "Why Didn't I Listen?" Because everything that I found myself in could have been avoided had I listened. Well, listen to who, Gracie? Glad you asked. Listen to God. I didn't listen because it was all about me. And my spiritual counselor, AJ Perry, had stopped me one day when she would counsel me one-on-one. And I think she was going through something, or something was going on in her family lifestyle. But I called her, and then she just mentioned it, but I didn't listen to her. I started just telling her about me. And she said, it's not about you. This is not about you, bruh. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. You're right. Because I was just wanting to talk about me. That's it. So Why Didn't I Listen is a book that I'm working on. Why didn't I listen? From the beginning to the end. Yeah. Getting
to the well, and not so much in, because it's a process, and I think we forget the journey is continuing. The word in itself is life, and it's moving.
Yeah.
And there's really no ending to it because, as believers, we believe that there is an afterlife. So, we're living to live again, and we've all got there's more to it. So what can you maybe give us an idea of perhaps some topics that you want to cover going forward?
Oh man, yeah. Some of the topics about the church hurt. We can talk about that because there are a lot of people, a lot of recording artists from past and present that experience a lot of church hurt. And I watched this happen. I watched it unfold. So that's a topic that I want to be able to talk about because we need to talk about it. How do you recover from the church hurt? How do you deal with church people? You have to remember they're human too, So
Yeah.
So that's one of the topics that I want to definitely cover. I did last week. We did life after imprisoned.
Ooh, awesome. Oh, that was awesome.
That was
Very
good.
powerful.
Yeah, yeah. But what about life after losing? All
Yeah.
of these things. We lose a lot. We lose loved ones, grieving. We lose jobs. We
hmm
lose relationships.
hmm
We lose children.
hmm
Tragedy is common now in our time that we're living. I'm watching it unfold. I'm praying for my community in Dominican Republic, where so many people were lost. That was at the club on last Tuesday
hmm
evening. And then this just not anybody, but there were big people there at the club. I mean, I'm not saying that anybody's not
hmm
somebody, but there were people there that lost loved ones
Right.
in the
hmm
Dominican Republic there too. And then the tragic that just took place in New York City with the helicopter, a whole family wiped up. The CEO of Siemens Corporation, him and his family was wiped out. The pilot was he was a Navy SEAL, African American gentleman. His life is gone. So it's a lot. It's a lot going on. And how do we deal with it? How do we move past this? So there's a lot that I want people to come in and join in and Embrace the Community podcast. Send me the topics. What do you want to hear? What do you need help with? What are you struggling with? What do you don't like? What is it that you don't like about you? What is it that you don't like about your spouse, your whoever? I can talk to you about all of those topics because I've been there. I've been through it all. Marriages. I've been through it all. Relationships, breakups. A teacher tried to molest me when I was a kid. So I've been through it all. I know I may not be able to feel your pain,
Right.
but I know the pain that you've gone through. So,
And I want to remind our viewers, we do have Mr. Bracy has a YouTube channel. So we do
yes,
want you to take the time to go on to YouTube and subscribe and become
right.
a part of that community there on YouTube. It's the Embrace It, and you'll see the spelling of the Embrace It Community Podcast. And there is the address where you can go on there and subscribe.
Yes.
And if you would like to communicate with Bracy Goodwin, you can write Embrace It Community Podcast at gmail.com. You see the email scrolling there across the screen. Embrace It Community Broadcast at gmail.com.
Yeah. Did
Wonderful.
we talk about, I see the hour's getting late, but I think you had asked me before we came on about the song that I wrote.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the theme song at the beginning and the ending of the podcast was written by our host, Mr. Bracy Goodwin. So we were hoping that we would have a chance to play some of that for the listeners, for the viewers
today. I didn't see
today.
it on here. Yeah, I saw it down here when I looked at the playlist down here. I'm going to go ahead and clear it up. This song came to me 4 o'clock in the morning. Can you hear it?
Yes.
4 o'clock in the morning, I'm driving a bus in Columbus, Ohio. And the Lord started speaking to me, the music, the lyrics, and I wrote it for a church in Columbus, Ohio, Greater Glory Empowerment Temple. And they use it for their service as well. But this is the song that God gave me, one of the first songs that I was able to put down on paper and said, wow, it's all about God is asking you to come in, no judgment zone. And that's what this is all about. Come on in. He welcomes us. So this song was something that I had an opportunity to write. So yeah, take a listen to it for a minute. I'll let it play. Yeah, that was me too, doing all of that.
Excellent. The first time I heard that, I was like, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know my friend could do that. That's
And that makes me
wonderful.
feel like doing this. Hey,
I
it's
tell
9
you,
minutes before the hour. You know, I got that. I want to go to the
I
radio.
know, right?
Do that. Just makes me want to go there. I'm telling you.
It's
Oh gosh.
it's really amazing how people don't take the time to get to know. They make friendships and don't really take the time to know. I'll say this. I have learned more. I'm afraid to really hate to say. I've learned more about people sometimes at their passing when I'm reading about them in an obituary or reading a resolution.
Yeah.
And I really think we need to take more time to just talk and get to know our friends, get to know them better. That's one reason why I do appreciate you allowing me this time to come on to the podcast. I don't come in front of lenses. I like to be behind.
Right.
Like,
I'm surprised you're on now because that's what you said.
Yeah.
No, I'm not coming on. I'm back. You know, my cousin, I want to mention my cousin also, Darren Malachi. Oh man, he's a phenomenal speaker, motivator. You know, we were all raised up as kids. He's in Connecticut, and he has DM Streets Talk. I think that's the name of his show. But he wants to sit back and give me ideas because he says he has a lot of ideas too. I'm surprised he's not on, but he'll probably jump on. DM Street Talks and Darren Malachi, man. If you want to, I'm trying to get him to come on. I know, but he's recovering from some surgeries that he had. This man will motivate anybody because I remember his story. His story was, you know, he was kicked out with nothing. My aunt kicked him out and called him everything but a man. And but now today, a very successful man with his own business.
Wonderful.
Him and his wife, they have a home, beautiful home. He is smart. He's intelligent. He's that guy that can put anything together, make anything happen. Darren Malachi, man, I'm not saying, the rest of my family isn't smart too, but this is one guy that really, really showed me perseverance and just staying to it. He did it.
Wonderful.
He did the thing. And so, yeah, he's another backbone behind me, pushing me because he encourages me every week. Man, that was good. That was great.
Yes.
That was great. That was wonderful. You know, because, I told you I'm my worst critic, and I'll be like, was that all right? That was okay? You say, yeah, it was good. It was good. So, yeah, so that was that. That was
so
good.
we look forward to having him on in the near future and hearing the two of you having a conversation.
Yes.
And is there anything that you can think of we still have some time, and I'm going to get out of the way and let you address your viewers. Is there something that you visualize going forward for the podcast that maybe you haven't mentioned, or is there something that's really tugging at your heart as my last question that you want to share or that you want people to kind of keep in mind for the purpose of the community?
I have a vision for this. I have a vision for this, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen because of who I am. I see this Embrace It Community Podcast being on your national television station. Like we got the talk shows that come on at night and the talk shows during the day. I see this happening. I see this happening in the Dominican Republic as I'm learning my Spanish too. And I want to take it there. I want to take it out the country. I want to see this thing go global. Yeah. Global. When I first got started, I remember I had to get over 100 followers. And I said, wow, I got over 739 friends. How come I can't get 100 people to follow me? And my son would say, Dad, it takes time. It takes time. They have to hear you. You got to get to know you. I said, I get it. But why do they follow me if they're not really trying to, see what I'm doing? They just want to follow me. So I see it growing. I see that number growing. If you haven't, those that are on now and listening and tuning in later, if you haven't liked and followed the Embrace It Community Podcast page, please do, so the more you support me, the more I can help you, because I believe with all my heart that this is going to be big. You said it to me. My cousin said it to me. People I love in Dominican Republic has said it to me. I mean, I'm hearing from it. I'm hearing it all over that it's going. So I'm now getting ready. So I see this going global, if that answers the question. It's going, enjoy the ride now. We going, your studio, I see your studio here, and I might be somewhere out in the country. You're letting me know how things go here. Because what I'm learning with the Steve Harvey Morning Show and the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, sometimes Steve Harvey's at home in California.
Oh, because I worked in syndicated radio. Yes. We're in one place, and we're all over the world. So
all over the world, yeah. So I see that. I see it happening. Because my home, that where I want to retire and be, it's definitely not the United States. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, I see it happening, and traveling back and forth and just having fun, doing what we're doing, helping people, the community, loving on everybody, teaching people how to love again, and what to do about the hurt, the pain, heartaches, and the strains. All of that. My message this morning: what's love got to do with it? Everything. If you don't have love, you don't have anything. You're a miserable person. I grew up in a house of miserable people. My stepfather was a miserable man. That man was miserable, treated me bad. And as I got older, I could care less if he lived or died. But my grandmother, who loved me at an early age, 7 or 8 years old, told me, he's going to need you before you need him. And it came to pass, where he could no longer even wash or clean himself. And I had to do it. But it's because of the love. Because of love. So what's love got to do with it?
Everything. Well, thank you for allowing me this opportunity. We're almost at the close, so I'm going to step aside now, Mr. Brace Goodwin, and let you finish your program and wrap everything up. Thank you again for allowing us to take a special look behind the Embrace It Community Podcast.
Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. I was wondering if there's some questions in the room, but I see people joining in. Antoinette, hello, good evening to you. Sister Goodson, thank you for joining. Daniel Fontaine, thank you all for joining and listening. And please do me a favor and spread the word. Just let everybody know that we are here. We are doing this because we love you. And so that's all I ask. Each week I'm getting on doing this. And so that's why I want you all to know why I'm here. And I hope you share this, like it, share it, with everybody. The more you share, the more people I can reach and help. Okay? So yeah, that's really it. It's time for us to go. I know we were having a good time, but it's time to go. And I thank everyone again for joining in. If you're just now joining in, there's an opportunity for you to like and share and follow the Embrace It Community Podcast page. If you can't find it for some reason, shoot us a message, drop me an email. We have an email address, embraceitcommunitypodcast@gmail.com. You can reach us there as well. But thank you all for your support. I love you because I love myself first. Remember, stay strong, people. Stay strong. We got this, right? We got this.
Amen.
We got it. Let's go home. Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you for listening to Embrace It, the Community Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Follow the Community Podcast page on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Please like and share the podcast with your community circle.